I want to give a huge special thank you to my friend UndeadBoss for helping me make this video and producing it in general. Without him and the people on my Discord server, this video wouldn't have been possible, and I highly appreciate the collaborated efforts of everyone here. I'll leave the link to his channel and everything for him in the description. With that being said, he also did a video of this actual gameplay, and it's pretty hilarious, so if you wanted to see it without any of the actual edits and cuts that I'm doing here, feel free to go click on his channel. He posts gameplay like this pretty frequently, and he's a hilarious guy. He's fucking fantastic. I love him to death, and I'd highly recommend checking him out. So let's go ahead and hop into the video. For those new to the channel, you may not even know that I've ever played this game. Most people only come here for honor, and I understand that. But Friday the 13th was one of the very first games that I ever played on my channel, and it's always held a very special place in my heart ever since I bought it from day one. It was one of the very first games I bought on PlayStation to play with my friends, other than, say, Call of Duty. And it's really held a special place in my heart, like I said. Upon playing this game, if you ever do, you'll notice a lot of things. You'll notice the bugs. You'll notice the animations are a little wonky. You'll notice that the game honestly just seems to be more of a party game than have any sort of competitive play. That's because of what it is. Is Friday the 13th worth playing in 2020? The answer to that is a yes or no. It's complicated. Friday the 13th is a game without a competitive scene. It's a party game, meant to be played like something like Mario Kart or Mario Party. It's something you can just boot up with your friends and you know that you're going to have a really good time and laugh with. It's never going to be taken serious as a game, and that's a good thing, and I think that's what appeals to most people when they get this. There's a certain charm that comes with this game, and tryhards do exist in this game, but they're virtually non-existent. A lot of people just love this game simply because Jason's in it, and a lot of people love this game because there's nothing else like it in the market. And I know a lot of people will compare this game to Dead by Daylight and other games, but believe me when I say it's nothing like that. I love this game, and the opinion I'm going to give you is going to be biased, but I'll try to do my best to not make it like that. So, to start off with, I want to give you guys the pros of this game, and then I'll go to the cons. The pros is that there is no competitive scene. Now, and a lot of people might see that as a con, but I love that personally. I love the fact that this is meant to be a party game. This is meant to be a game where you can play, have fun, and not have to care about much. I love the fact that you can just have fun with friends and laugh and enjoy yourselves. Even if you're playing as Jason, when you have proximity chat on, they can still hear you. And I always really enjoyed that. Proximity chat is also a pro. This is something that I wish more games did, and I understand that it's really hard to implement in, our current era where party chat is always going to be a thing. But basically, proximity chat, obviously, is whenever you go near someone, you can hear them more clearly, and the closer you are, the more you can hear them. And if you can find a group of people who are all in proximity chat of each other, then or all agree to use proximity chat rather than party chat, you'll find that this game is so much more fun than it normally would be in party chat. With proximity chat on, it's something that I absolutely adore because it really forces you to have team play and stick with each other. Because if one person goes off on their own, no one's going to know until they say it. And even by then, they might be too far away for you guys to hear it. It's a really neat little tool that they put in the game that kind of gives you a little bit more realism in a game that is nothing even remotely realistic about it. And I think that's just a cool little idea that they put in. Another pro to this game is that survivors can fight back. It enforces team play a lot, and one of the main things survivors can do is either hit Jason or even try to kill him. Killing Jason is an option in every single game, and even just hitting him once has a chance of knocking him down with certain weapons like blunt weapons, like pipes and bats and things of that nature. Bladed weapons most of the time won't stun him, but they will do a little bit more damage to get his mask off in order to kill him. But I feel like there's so much that goes into this game that not a lot of people really try to do. Another pro to this game is that there's multiple ways to escape and live. You can even just survive for so many minutes to win. You can call the police to escape with the police. You can drive or even take a boat out of the area. Or I mean, you can even just kill Jason, like I mentioned a moment ago. There's so many different win conditions for the survivors, and realistically, there's only one kill condition and win condition for Jason, and that's simply just to kill everyone. Now, this is another thing that I really enjoy about this game, is that there are multiple win-win conditions for the survivors versus the killer. Now, you'll hear me say survivors and killer because a lot of people don't really like me to use the term camp counselor and Jason. So, do with that with what you will. I always found that to be a really cool concept, is that with Jason and all of the other characters in this game, with all the camp counselors and survivors, you have so much cool shit that goes into just playing this game and enjoying this game. And the win-win conditions are really cool, and I really enjoy them. By win-win conditions, I mean winning on both teams. If Jason kills a majority of the survivors and one survivor managed to escape, Jason pretty much won. He got his blood fill, and the survivor still won because one of their own escaped. Always thought that was a really cool idea. Not everything has to be win or lose. Sometimes it can be the best for both worlds on both teams. And that's something, like I said, I really adore in this game. There isn't a whole lot about this game that I hate. And honestly, it feels really good to be back and play it again in 2020. With the border of 2021 and October being right around the corner, I figured this would be a really good time for me to pick up this game again and talk about it. This game has been around for a very long time, as you could probably imagine, I believe, even pre-2017. And the game itself is just really, really clean. It has some bugs, it has some glitches, and that's why I'm going to talk about the cons. I've listed off a majority of the pros that come to mind. Now, that isn't including the gameplay or anything like that. I believe the gameplay is really fun, but can be buggy, obviously. But let's go ahead and talk about the cons, and then I'll start talking about other things. The cons, obviously, is that the game is very buggy. IllFonic has done really good to improve this game since its launch, but there are still some things that have problems, especially when people have high latency. When people have high latency and they're playing as Jason, you'll swear that you've dodged their grab or their hit, and they'll just snatch you out of the ground for 10 feet away. And that will happen. And it almost feels kind of cheesy and cheap. And that's one thing that this game doesn't do well, is cheap deaths. Every time you die, you know that, oh, I could have done this or I could have done that. And sometimes getting cheap death it doesn't feel great in this game. Now, there are some games out there like For Honor and Call of Duty where pretty much every death feels cheap. But this isn't one of those games. When something happens that, makes your death feel ungratifying or unrewarding, it really does stick to you, and that's why it's one of the biggest cons that I'm going to bring up. Honestly, there are a lot of friends that I've had who've completely rage quit the game and haven't talked to me for a week, simply because they had high latency and I just kind of snatched them off the ground and killed them. And that'll happen. It does feel ungratifying sometimes, but, it's a game. What can you do? Not everything's going to be perfect. Another one of the cons is that there are clear advantages for certain survivors and certain Jasons in terms of balance. Now, certain characters are going to have way better chances of survival versus Jason, and certain Jasons are going to have way better chances of killing versus certain survivors. A lot of the survivors in this game have an absolute meta, such as bringing a map whenever you start, bringing a baseball bat, or even bringing firecrackers whenever you start. They never made the ability to bring a pocket knife, but if they ever did, obviously everyone would use it, so I'm glad they never did that. At late game and late levels, such as past level 100 or at level 100, I can't remember if you can level past that or not, this game really decides to give you a lot of shenanigans and bullshit to play with. And with certain Jasons, like, for example, the one that I'm using, you don't really see very many people play this Jason simply because he cannot run. This is a huge problem and a huge detriment because you're constantly having to shift. And this is where the game kind of starts in with check and balance. Certain survivors can only run for a certain time, but certain survivors are more stealthy, or can absolutely fucking book it all the way across the map with no problem. Certain Jasons can do the same thing, but some of them can't run, or lack the ability to grab for very long, and things of that nature. Check and balance isn't really a thing in this game, but since there's no competitive scene, it's not a huge con and a huge detriment, but it is something that does exist, and is a bit of a problem. But the biggest con of all is that the game is no longer receiving updates. And by updates, I mean added content. Every so often within 2020, there have been added content in terms of bug fixes and things of that nature, but there is no actual content that is being added. No more outfits, no more maps, no more JSONs, no more anything of that nature. And the reason that is because of the lawsuit that happened with Elphonic a while back. And sadly, that's probably the biggest thing with this game. We know that we're not going to be getting any additional content other than occasional bug fixes, if that, anymore. And that really sucks really bad. This game had so much more potential to become one of the great household names, in my opinion, that could even rival a game like Dead by Daylight, and I still firmly believe that it can rival Dead by Daylight. And with that being said, that's going to be the biggest issue with this game. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys enjoy the rest of this footage. You know, I've really enjoyed playing this game, and yeah. Is Friday the 13th worth playing in 2020 or 2021? I'm going to give a very straightforward answer with this, and it's going to be yes, but only if you can manage to find it on sale. I wouldn't recommend paying more than 20 bucks for this game, especially if you're not going to play it very much, or you know you're not going to play it very much. I absolutely adore this game, and I've gotten more than my fair share hours of fill out of this, and the community is still very much alive, by the way. On PlayStation 4, it takes me less than 2 minutes to find a match every single time, versus games like For Honor, where it normally takes me 4 to 5. So, yeah. I would highly recommend it. Now, if you don't have friends who play it with you, believe me, you can find and make friends on this game very quickly and very easily. But, I love you guys. As always, have a good one. I'll let you enjoy the rest of the footage, and peace out. I don't know if that's wise. Just give it up, man. You know how this goes. You know how this goes. Gonna make me break all these windows. Ah, shit, someone started a car. Very ballsy move, I'll give it to you.
They deserve to die, Jason. Make them suffer.
Let me see, we got 2 people alive. Hey, Shadow, you anywhere near here, buddy? Gotta go to the boat. Hey, yo, who's here? Knock, knock. Trying to make friends. Knock, knock. Shadow. Alright, so you're under a bed. Aw, man. I just heard you breathing heavy too. Damn. I'm sorry for what's about to happen,
Oh,
Chief.
Jesus. Did he see me?
I'm so sorry. GG.
That's my boy. Hunt them down and make them pay.
Hey, what up, gamer? I know you're the last alive. You want to make it easy, or gonna do it the hard way? I mean, it don't really matter, I guess. It's up to you. Okay, I guess we'll do it the hard way. That's cool too. I feel it. You want her here by any chance? Yup. Lucky guess.
Yes. Kill for mother.
Wait, 6 out of 7? Who the hell got out? Oh, okay, alright. Well, I'll take it.
My sweet, sweet Jason.
Yeah.
Mommy is proud of you.
Shadow hiding under a damn
Now
bed.
come home.
Like, shut up, cover goblin. Yeah, hiding under a fucking blanket.